For over 30 years, billions of dollars of supplements have been sold based on an idea that turned out to be wrong. And some of these supplements that millions of people take every single day to protect their health may be worse than useless. They may actually be shortening lives. Hello, health champions. Today we're going to talk about the absolute worst supplements that you need to avoid. So this idea that I mentioned, it started with some observations, and they saw that people who ate more fruits and vegetables had lesser rates of cancer and heart disease. And then they figured that there was something in these fruits and vegetables that are called antioxidants. They have high rates of antioxidants. And at the same time, there was this theory that free radicals was a cause of disease. And then they figured, well, if antioxidants combat free radicals, that's why these people are healthy, and that's why fruits and vegetables are good. So then, based on this idea that it was all about the antioxidants, they figured, hey, what if we can make these, if we can extract or synthesize these antioxidants and we could put mega doses of those in a pill, now we can bottle the benefits of fruits and vegetables, and we can basically accomplish the same protection in a bottle. And then they started measuring something called ORAC, which stands for Oxygen Radical Absorbance Capacity. And this became the gold standard that they measured all these different foods like blueberries and acai and pomegranate, and they found that these had some of the highest rates, some of the highest ORAC scores. So then they figured these were the superfoods. And a lot of products, very expensive products, were starting to concentrate and extract these antioxidants and berry extracts from these superior berries, and then they claimed that they had superior products. And I think almost everyone has heard about antioxidants and of this ORAC thing. If you Google it, there's an abundance of tables and graphs and images and information on this. So most people are aware of this ORAC thing, but I don't think many people know that ORAC has been abandoned, completely abandoned as a useful measurement. And in fact, the FDA removed all values of ORAC from their databases in 2012, which is now 14 years ago. Because despite massive research, they have not found any meaningful relationship between antioxidants and ORAC and health. In fact, it turned out that the entire measuring stick was completely wrong. So does that mean fruits and vegetables are bad for us? No, not at all. They're still very beneficial. They had the right conclusion that they're good for us, but they had the wrong reason. So this entire idea of antioxidants in a pill, all the studies, all the research has been very, very disappointing. Despite massive efforts, no studies could actually show that there was a health benefit. But at the same time, it's still true that people who eat more fruits and vegetables typically live longer and they have less disease. And some of that is because there's some beneficial things in fruits and vegetables. Another thing is that the more fruits and vegetables you eat, the less processed foods and donuts and things like that you probably eat. But what we do know, it was not because of antioxidants in the fruits and vegetables that people do better. It is due to a completely different mechanism. So the biggest reason fruits and vegetables are good for us is that they feed and maintain the microbiome. There's really not that much in fruits and vegetables that your human cells need. There's some vitamins and minerals that are great, but for the most part, you eat them to feed and maintain your microbiome. And the number of bacteria, it's an entire universe down there. And the number of bacteria is about equal to the number of human cells, about 40 billion. But more important than that is the amount of bacterial DNA, which is about 150 times as much as our human DNA. And the reason that's important is that the amount of DNA allows the bacteria to do a lot of things that we as humans can't do. They can make more proteins, they can make more enzymes, they can break down things that we can't break down. They are complementing our physiology and they're packaging nutrients that we otherwise couldn't get to. So it's not about antioxidants. It's the fact that fruits and vegetables contain fiber, and we're not just talking like sawdust. We're talking very complex and varied types of fiber that feed the bacteria. We're talking about polyphenols and other plant compounds that selectively feed and become food for this microbial universe down there. And if we take care of them and we have a healthy microbiome, now in turn that leads to less inflammation. It leads to an improved and stronger immune system. It improves the mood due to the number of neurotransmitters that are manufactured by your microbiome. It improves the health of your gut lining, so you have less leaky gut. You have a better barrier in your gut, which leads to less allergies and less disease, less autoimmunity, and so on. So again, it's not because they contain antioxidants and they can help reduce the number of free radicals. That is not what the benefits are about. So eating fruits and vegetables are good, but we attached the wrong explanation to why they're good, and therefore we have all these useless supplements that are built on a flawed premise. And again, that flawed premise is that fruits and vegetables are good for us because they contain antioxidants. And I'm repeating this a little bit so you really get it, because the antioxidant and free radical idea about fruits and vegetables is still the prevailing mainstream opinion. And if you go do a Google search for ORAC or antioxidants or free radicals, you will not find what I talked about. You will find the prevailing old flawed premise. So they really did try a lot to prove that antioxidants was the cause of better health. So the hypothesis then was that if we increase the amount of antioxidants in a control group, then we'll observe less cancer. Well, in one study, they found they gave people beta-carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A, and they had a 28% increase in cancer, not a decrease. So it made it worse. It wasn't just useless, it actually made it worse. And we're going to talk about some of the reasons why that might be. And this particular finding was repeated in 2 separate studies, and both of them were stopped early because the indications were so clear that it was damaging. In another study, they found that if you gave alpha tocopherol, which is a form of vitamin E, the supplement form of vitamin E, they gave it to 35,000 men, and prostate cancer increased by 17%. And in one of the biggest review studies ever, they took 68 different studies and they reviewed all the results from random controlled trials, which is the gold standard for reliable research. It involved 230,000 people. And the conclusion was that beta-carotene, vitamin A supplements, and vitamin E supplements were actually all increasing mortality. They killed people. So what's really going on here? Well, we're going to look at it in several different steps. And the first part is that the body doesn't need external antioxidants because it already has a built-in system to deal with free radicals. And we need to understand that free radicals are generated continuously. We make trillions of them per second. And we can't wait. Your body can't wait for you to remember to take a pill with antioxidants so that it can fight off these free radicals. They're ongoing, and the body already has a system. It's built in. And there's 3 enzymes in particular that handle this. And also we need to understand that free radicals are generated inside cells. That's where all the metabolic reactions, that's where all the enzymatic reactions take place. That's where we make all the energy that generate the free radicals. So the antioxidants need to be intracellular. They need to be inside the cell where they can deal with the problem. The antioxidants that we eat, they are not going to make it into the cell the same way that these intracellular will. So the first enzyme is called catalase. And this is not like an antioxidant supplement, that one molecule of an antioxidant supplement can neutralize one free radical, because that's basically how lame they are. This catalase that the body provides, it can destroy 6 million free radicals per minute per molecule of catalase. And we can make millions of these molecules of catalase at the rate that we need them. The second one is called superoxide dismutase, and these work a little bit differently, but this one neutralizes the most damaging free radicals first. And then we have glutathione, which is the master antioxidant in the body. And again, all three of these are intracellular. And again, in comparison, the antioxidants in supplements, they neutralize one molecule per one free radical, and then they're used up. It's like a fire extinguisher. You have one fire extinguisher, you have a little fire, you put it out, and now the fire extinguisher is empty and you can't use it anymore. You could try to refill it at some point, but for now, it can't do anything. The body's own defense system works differently because these are not used up. They work continuously. It's like a machine that can just eliminate the free radicals by the millions. So that's the first part about why antioxidants can be harmful, that the body already has a system. It doesn't need external antioxidants. Here's the next part. Free radicals are generated in the body on purpose, by design, and they are signals. They're part of the system. We produce free radicals as part of normal operations. When we make energy, we produce free radicals. That's just part of the design. And exercise, fasting, basic metabolism, those are all things that use up energy that generate free radicals. And in generating these free radicals, they communicate to cells. These are signals. And they tell these cells to activate their defenses, to make more energy, and to get stronger. Now, if we flood the body with external antioxidants in a pill, now we neutralize these free radicals. We remove the signal before the signals had a chance to do what it was intended to do. And if we interrupt that signal pathway, now that message is lost and we lose some of these strengthening factors that the cell was supposed to do. So in your body, as part of this natural system, there is a master switch that we refer to as NRF2. And don't worry about the name, it's just the switch that they call it that. And free radicals activate this switch so that the body can generate the defense and take care of the free radicals. So this NRF2 switch, it turns on the production of these three enzymes that we talked about, the catalase, the SOD, and the glutathione. And the beauty is that it's just one switch, it's just one signal will activate the entire system. But again, if we flood our body with antioxidants, now we neutralize the signal. If we neutralize the signal, now there is nothing to trigger this NRF2 switch, and there is no system activation. The defenses do not get activated. And in addition to free radicals, we also activate the system with exercise and fasting, because exercise, again, it needs a lot of energy. Energy generates free radicals. So these are some of the ways that the body has a natural way of activating these defenses. So I want to clarify something though about vitamin E, and that's that the pill is not food. It doesn't mean vitamin E is bad. It's just the mega doses and the form of vitamin E. So when you eat vitamin E in food, you get 8 different forms of vitamin E, of tocopherol. And the two most important are called alpha tocopherol, which protect us in a certain way. It acts in a certain pathway. And then we have gamma tocopherol. Those are the 2 out of 8 that are the most important. But again, all 8 serve a purpose, and we get all 8 from food. And gamma tocopherol works on a different pathway. So both of these are very similar in structure. That's the tocopherol. But then because there's a slight variation, they work completely differently. And that's why we need both of these 2 different forms. However, the vast majority of vitamin E supplements that you buy in a store is alpha tocopherol only. You're only getting 1 of the forms of the 8 forms, and you're not getting any of the other important one called gamma tocopherol. And what happens when we take one isolated form in high doses is that the alpha tocopherol, it looks very similar to the gamma, so it's going to displace the gamma. It's going to compete for absorption. It's going to compete for receptor sites. So therefore, if you take a high dose of alpha with no gamma, not only are you missing out on the gamma, but you're actually actively getting rid of the gamma. So the more of a typical vitamin E supplement that you take of alpha tocopherol only, the more you're going to be deficient in gamma, and you're going to lose that part of protection that the gamma tocopherol provides. And that's why the quality of a supplement is often so much more important than the dose. We read the label and people get so impressed when it says 20,000% of the daily recommendation or something. Well, when you get those synthetic supplements, when you get the pills, isolated synthetic forms are only fractions, they're only portions of what nature actually packaged in originally. But I want to bring up one exception, specifically R-alpha-lipoic acid. So some people call it lipoic acid, some people call it alpha-lipoic acid, but what you're looking for is R-alpha-lipoic acid. It's like one of 2 versions of it, and we'll get to that. So again, like I mentioned, most supplement antioxidants act on a 1-to-1 basis, 1 molecule for 1 free radical. However, this lipoic acid, R-alpha version, is genuinely different. It does not just work on a 1-on-1. It is taking part of a natural process. It's a recycler of other antioxidants. So it regenerates the natural vitamin C, vitamin E, and glutathione. So these are things that still benefit. We just can't get them isolated synthetic in disproportionate amounts. And by recycling and regenerating, it actually helps your body's own machinery to work longer. So the antioxidants, they last longer and they work better and they get regenerated. And unlike virtually every other supplement form of antioxidants, the R-alpha-lipoic acid can get into the cell because it's both water and fat soluble. And it is also native to mitochondria. It means this is a substance that naturally occurs, that the mitochondria are already using. And therefore, it's not foreign to this process. It's not really like these other external antioxidants that we take in megadoses. It's part of the system already, and it complements a natural system in the body. But here's why R-alpha-lipoic acid is important, because if you just buy the alpha-lipoic acid, now when they make it, they're going to get 2 different versions. They're going to get an R version and an S version, exactly 50%, because it's like they make it and it makes like 2 different gloves, and they're going to have their thumbs on opposite sides, so to speak. And only the R version is going to work. It's the only one that's going to be active and do anything positive. The other one is going to be useless. It's going to be completely inactive. But if you remember that they can compete, that different molecules that look similar, they can still compete for uptake and for receptors. So the S version may actually compete with the R version, meaning that You may not even get all the activity out of the R version if you take a bunch of the S version. So if you're spending your money on general alpha lipoic acid, you're getting 50% of each, but if the S competes with it, you're actually getting less than half of that product's going to be active and do what it's supposed to. So spending a little bit more for the R version is probably going to be worth it. So what you want to do is once and for all, you want to get over that old flawed premise that fruits and vegetables are good for us because they contain antioxidants. That's not why they're good. They're still good, but that's not the reason. You want to get over the idea that mega amounts, mega doses of external antioxidants can benefit you in any way. It is probably the opposite. Instead, you want to work with your body's own systems. You want to learn how to trigger that NRF2 switch, that switch that turns on all your antioxidants defenses, which are millions of times more powerful than anything that you could take in a pill form, but it is part of a self-balancing system. You're not throwing in something that's going to disrupt what your body is trying to do. You want to do some exercise because it is the right kind of oxidative stress. It creates free radicals because you increase your production of energy, and free radicals are a result of that. Besides that, there's about 1 million different benefits from exercise. There's no physiological system in your body that works optimally without exercise. Another good thing to do is fasting, not just for metabolic benefits, but also because it activates this internal defense system. Another potent activator of this NRF2 is broccoli sprouts or anything that contains sulforaphane. But broccoli sprouts are by far the highest concentration of sulforaphane that we know of. And then overall, you want to make sure that your diet consists almost entirely of whole foods, because whole foods contain nutrients the way nature packaged it. It contains complex nutrition. If you get vitamin E from food, you're going to get all 8 of these different components of vitamin E. And if you want to add a little bit of extra supplementation, then you want to do that in the form of R-alpha lipoic acid. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to love that one. And if you truly want to master health by understanding how the body really works, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell, and turn on all the notifications so you never miss a life-saving video.